Our first reader is Michael Jorgenson. Michael is an aspiring poet and novelist from Batavia, Illinois. He attained a bachelor's degree in English literature from Olivet Nazarene University and received the prestigious Tau Delta Writers Award upon graduation. His poems and stories have been published in several literary journals, including Tiger and the Seattle Star, and he is the recent winner of the Dead of the Night Poetry Contest. Jorgenson is currently in the process of publishing his first collection of poetry, called There Is Nothing Left to Say, as well as penning his debut novel, Ecstasis.
Thank you, Eric. I'm sure I got this. Can you guys hear me? All right. Well, it's a pleasure to be here this evening with all of you. First and foremost, I want to say thank you to the Water Street Writers Committee for selecting me to speak at this event. I want to say thanks to my friend and who has ultimately become kind of my literary mentor, big brother, James Joseph of the Batavia Bookshop. He encouraged me to submit for this evening, and I appreciate all our talks about literature. He's been a big influence on my life. And finally, to my family, first and foremost, my mom and my dad. Mom, thank you for your empathy, encouragement in every way, your drive. Dad, for introducing a love of literature into my life very early. Joe, for your abstract brain and our deep talks, essentially listening to me complain about life. And to Cassie, my beautiful girlfriend, who is so talented, an amazing artist who specializes in pointillism. I watch her put dots on a page for hours on end and create something immaculate, something beautiful, something wonderful that inspires me as a creative artist myself. The reason I mention pointillism is because pointillism is a collection of dots, turning something into something more beautiful, something more amazing. And that's something I feel like right now, in the time we live in, a lot has been said. There's illusions all over, things are being remade, recycled, tropes being redone, inverted. There's Nothing Left to Say is my collection of poetry, and I'm hoping that is that irony that a writer would name their collection There's Nothing Left to Say that will catch your intrigue and hopefully inspire readers. So without further ado, my first poem is entitled Dissonance. The air has been penned by the tower's spire. We've since been breathing in the futile words. Red ink written over once clean souls, the mouths of rivers shut and dammed, the bark carved in on every space, machines in place of the jealous tongue's hands. Whereof, where one can truly say, thereof I must be silent. Whereof, creation's vast decay, marred by progress, artistic expression, moldering Arcadia beneath it all. Beneath the chartered midnight streets where brown fog spreads like spilling dye, where lost and lonely specters speak on graves from funerals past and nigh. The tormented system of the silence, what a tragic fate the cards proclaim. Graffiti twice, the earth all covered, the colors mix, turn brown, and stain the glass wiped clean from stain. What more is there to write? Has no one truly been listening? An infinite deal of nothing speaks and delights in the smog of merry drinks and smoky nights where there is nothing left to say. We walk the corridors, searching the shelves, looking for lines of meaning amid leagues of cacophony. Soon will be black letters on a page, a name beside quotation marks with a hypocritical phrase delivered in whispers with hopes that all would hear. The subtitled train cars speak slowly, then fade, then fade, and fade into the chasm of the endless year, with quiet riders looking from their windows in neither joy nor fear, then turning to their right, breathing in the swarming air to ask a question they already know the answer to. The Poet's Cup. I walked up the hill in the dead of night, up out of the fog to the limestone tower. The moon-touched waters lapped against the bluffs, and in their cadence came the murky yawn of a ship deep within the sea of dreams. Atop the ivory tower crept the moon's Cheshire smile, a thin lemon wedge dripping down into the battlement. The midnight's dram poured into cup. I sipped it slow, until the morning ship came in. The next poem's entitled Heavy Snow. It comes so delicately, like a child, frightened by darkness, voice hushed, stirring the silent stillness of sleep for a blanket to hide the nightmare's rush, and waking the mother's weary mind, her stint of peace, a sad dismay, returning from a timeless, unknown dream of hyacinths and purple May. Yes, it hides and it manifests all in one. Yesterday's worries, fantasies flame, for the drowsy world becomes a dream where fear and joy both look the same. Particles, waves. Evening irons out the wrinkled day, hiding us beneath the smooth silk shadows spreading out in waves by invisible hands of heaven. Moonlight ripples on the black glass where mayflies meet and kiss and multiply, then disappear into an electric kingdom's hum. I watch a woman pass quietly through the dusk, hovering at times over the ground with a white taffeta trail at her bare feet. I am omitted from her history books. I am the embrace she walked right through. I was young like her yesterday, a wrinkled child, a pinball bouncing off the ghosts of other children on the black glass, chained to our unchanging sorrow. A few more. Religious conversations. She once told me that my soul was older than the mountains, forgotten coins and dried up fountains, than fields that the plow is yet to find, a being uncontrolled by time, perennial bloomed since Eden's spring. But I've confessed that I see God in everything, and since I've been a prince and not a king, eternal child in a foreign land where all the sirens sing, you are so very, very young. Next poem's entitled Brocade. We were sewn into these days with silver thread that the frail hands stitched, pausing here and there to let her knuckles crack, to take a sip of tea, to sigh, perhaps forget. Who knows how many days our lives are fixed to? Shall we be set down on the mantel near the bed frame, perhaps buried under stacks of days to come? Tapestries are often rushed so near the end, darning empty spaces with leftover strings, so many places with the same lifeless scenes, though it seems, my dear, we have waited and waited for true life to begin. I would cut your cord if I knew how, but we are woven in these days. Oh, what I'd give to see you fly, out from the chamber into mystery's window, your silk soul in the sky, gliding like a silver dragon far from here. Thank you. Nighttime. Evening song or morning bells, how am I to know? How time, that sleek and mystic spell, passes with a glow into hereafter, that veiled eternity, where time is bound to take her rest, in darkness, still, asleep, undressed, in pure naked nothingness, where she is free. Now, in her absence, I lie awake here in my bed, and gaze at what she's left behind, the specks of light she shed. An evening song falls into mind and soon enchants to sleep, where days forgotten come again, and dreams of future years transcend the ringing bells of nighttime's end, as morning's light does creep. Thank you. Two more poems. The first is entitled Blueberries. I offer her a blueberry, but she doesn't like them. Says they're too unpredictable. Says, the best blueberry made me want more. The worst made me give them up. I laugh and throw a handful in my mouth. She heads to bed, kisses my hair, doesn't ask me to join her, and I sit there in the den with the screen's blue glow, wondering which one I am. And finally, on a merry note, death. I spent all my money on books. Thanks, James. I spent all my money on books and found myself in films and spoke in timeless songs and lived in painted art. But each and every day, I died in poetry. Thank you, guys.